The fishing nets came up empty again. Old Kwame pulled his weathered hands across his graying beard as he stared at the barren catch. For 3 moons now, the fish had vanished from their coastal waters like spirits fleeing an angry god. The village of Senya, once blessed by the ocean's abundance, now faced the creeping shadow of hunger. "The sea is angry with us," whispered Alma, the village storyteller, her voice carrying across the morning breeze. Something has disturbed the ancient peace. But Kwame's attention wasn't on her words. His eyes were fixed on something impossible, a young woman walking from the direction of the crashing waves, her dark skin glistening with droplets that caught the sunrise like tiny diamonds. She wore a flowing cloth that seemed to shimmer with colors that changed like the ocean itself. "Who is she?" young Kofi whispered, dropping his fishing spear. The woman's beauty was otherworldly. Her movements flowed like water, graceful and mesmerizing. When she smiled, it was as if the very sun had decided to bless their troubled village. But there was something else, something that made the hair on Kwame's arms stand on end. Where had she come from? The nearest village was 2 days' walk inland, and no boats had arrived in weeks. "Welcome, sister," called out Akojua, the chief's daughter, her curiosity overcoming caution. "What brings you to our humble Senya?" The stranger's voice was like the gentle lapping of waves against sand. "I seek shelter and a chance to begin anew. My village was destroyed by storms." Her eyes held depths that seemed to swirl like ocean currents. When she spoke of storms, something flickered across her face. Was it pain, or something darker? As the villagers gathered around this mysterious beauty, none noticed the small, iridescent scales that briefly appeared along her neck when the sunlight hit just right. None saw how she carefully avoided stepping too close to the tide pools. And none suspected that their empty fishing nets and her sudden arrival were connected by a secret as deep as the ocean itself. Why had the fish truly disappeared? And what was this enchanting stranger really hiding beneath her captivating smile? Are you enjoying this mysterious tale from the depths of African folklore? Drop a like if this story has caught your attention, and don't forget to subscribe for more captivating stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat. But before you go, the next chapter reveals a shocking discovery that will change everything the villagers thought they knew about their mysterious guest. The truth is more incredible than anyone could imagine. 3 weeks had passed since Naia, as the stranger called herself, arrived in Senya. The village had embraced her like a long-lost daughter, but the mystery of the missing fish only deepened. Kofi found himself drawn to Naia like iron to a magnet. Every morning, he would find excuses to visit the small hut the villagers had built for her near the shore. Her laughter was music that made his heart dance, and her stories of distant lands captivated everyone who listened. "Tell me about your home," Kofi asked one sunset evening as they walked along the beach. Naia's step faltered almost imperceptibly. It was beautiful, blue as far as the eye could see, with creatures more colorful than any rainbow. Her voice carried a longing that made Kofi's chest tighten. "But it's gone now." What she didn't tell him was how she watched the ocean every night, her body aching to return to its embrace. How she had to force herself to drink water constantly to keep her human form stable. How the salt in her tears tasted like home. Old Kwame, however, was not blinded by love. He noticed things others missed, how Naia never ate fish, claiming it upset her stomach. How she knew exactly when storms were coming, hours before the clouds appeared. How the dolphins had started swimming closer to shore, as if searching for something. "That woman brings ill fortune," he warned Chief Osei. Since she arrived, not only have the fish vanished, but strange things happen. The fishermen report seeing lights beneath the water at night. Chief Osei waved dismissively. She's just a refugee, Kwame. Your suspicions are unfounded. But that very night, young Alma couldn't sleep. She crept to her window and gasped. There, in the moonlight, she saw Naia standing waist-deep in the waves, her arms raised to the moon. The water around her glowed with an ethereal blue light. And for just a moment, Alma could swear she saw something impossible, a magnificent tail where Naia's legs should be. What was Naia's true connection to the sea? And why were the ocean's creatures acting so strangely since her arrival? The morning after Alma's shocking discovery, panic rippled through Senya like wildfire. But when the young girl tried to tell the adults what she had witnessed, they dismissed her words as the fantasies of an overactive imagination. Mermaids are just stories, child, laughed Auntie Efua. Perhaps you've been listening to too many folk tales. Frustrated but determined, Alma sought out old Kwame. The seasoned fisherman listened intently, his weathered face growing grave with each detail. I believe you, little one, he whispered. I've suspected something unnatural about that woman from the beginning. Meanwhile, Kofi's love for Naia had blossomed into something deeper than the ocean itself. He had carved a beautiful wooden pendant for her, a symbol of eternal love in their culture, and planned to ask for her hand in marriage. Naia, he said that evening, dropping to one knee on the sandy shore, you've brought light to my world. Will you be my wife? The pendant gleamed in the moonlight as Naia's eyes filled with tears. Her heart shattered into 1,000 pieces. How could she explain that their love was doomed? That she belonged to a world he could never enter? Kofi, she began, her voice trembling like leaves in a storm. But before she could answer, Kwame emerged from behind a cluster of rocks, his eyes blazing with accusation. In his hands, he held something that made Naia's blood run cold, a shimmering scale, larger than any fish could produce. I found this where you walk each night, Kwame declared, his voice carrying across the beach. What are you really, woman? What have you done to our fish? To our village? Naia backed toward the water, her carefully constructed human world crumbling around her. Kofi stared in confusion, his marriage proposal forgotten as the terrible truth began to dawn. The ocean called to her, promising safety, but also eternal separation from the man she had grown to love more than her own freedom. In that moment of crisis, what choice would Naia make? And what would happen when the entire village learned the shocking truth about their mysterious guest? The confrontation on the beach had awakened the entire village. Torches flickered like angry fireflies as the people of Senya gathered around Kwame, Kofi, and the trembling Naia. Chief Osei pushed through the crowd, his face stern with authority. What is the meaning of this disturbance? Kwame held up the iridescent scale, its surface catching the torchlight like trapped starlight. This woman is not what she appears to be. She's the reason our nets come up empty, why our children go to bed hungry. Naia's human facade was cracking like dried clay. Her skin began to shimmer, and her breathing became labored. She needed water, needed the ocean's embrace, or her transformation would become visible to all. Please, she whispered, her voice breaking. You don't understand. Then help us understand. Kofi stepped forward, his heart torn between love and confusion. Naia, tell me this is all some terrible mistake. Tell me you're just a woman who loves me. The anguish in his eyes nearly broke her completely. But before she could speak, little Alma pushed through the crowd. "She's a mermaid," the girl declared bravely. "I saw her in the water with a tail like the great fish." Gasps rippled through the gathered villagers. Some stepped back in fear, while others pressed closer in fascination. Naia closed her eyes, knowing her secret was finally exposed. When she opened them again, they held the depth of centuries. "Yes," she whispered, her voice carrying across the silent beach. "I am Naia of the deep waters, daughter of the Sea Queen. I came to your world seeking something I could never find in mine." The transformation began slowly. Her legs shimmered and merged, scales appearing like jewels along her skin. Her beautiful human form gave way to something even more magnificent, a creature of legend standing before them in flesh and scale. "The fish didn't disappear because of me," she continued, her voice now carrying the power of ocean currents. "They fled because my people are searching for me. My absence has disrupted the balance between sea and shore." Kofi stared at the woman he loved, seeing her true form for the first time. His proposal pendant fell from numb fingers into the sand. But the revelation was far from over. For approaching from the dark waters behind Naia, glowing forms began to emerge. Her underwater kingdom had come to reclaim their lost princess. What would happen when two worlds collided on the shores of Senya? And could love survive the ultimate test of truth? The Sea Queen emerged from the waves like a living tsunami, her presence commanding and terrible. Behind her came the royal guard, magnificent beings whose scales gleamed with the colors of deep coral and midnight pearls. "My daughter," the Sea Queen's voice boomed across the beach, causing the villagers to fall to their knees in terror and awe. "You have forsaken your people for these land dwellers." Naia stood between two worlds, her heart splitting like a shell against rocks. To her left stood Kofi, his love unwavering despite the shocking truth. To her right waited her mother and the underwater realm that had birthed and nurtured her. "Mother, I have found something here that doesn't exist in our kingdom," Naia said, her voice steady despite her trembling form. "Love that sees beyond appearance, kindness that asks nothing in return." The Sea Queen's eyes flashed like lightning over troubled waters. "And what of your duty? What of the sacred covenant that keeps the seas abundant and the tides in balance?" Old Kwame, trembling but determined, stepped forward. "Your Majesty," he said, bowing deeply, "our people have suffered since your daughter's absence. But we have also learned something precious, that understanding can bridge any divide." Chief Osei joined him, his voice carrying the wisdom of leadership. "Perhaps there is a way to honor both worlds." Kofi moved closer to Naia, his love overcoming his fear. "I don't care what you are," he declared, "mermaid or human. You are the woman who brought joy to our village, who showed us that beauty comes in forms we never imagined." The Sea Queen studied the gathered humans, seeing something that surprised her. Acceptance mixed with their fear, curiosity alongside their reverence. "My people," Naia addressed both the villagers and her underwater family, "love taught me that true belonging isn't about the form we wear, but about the connections we forge. I propose a new covenant." Her voice grew stronger, carrying the authority of both princess and woman in love. "I will spend half my time in each world, bringing the wisdom of the sea to the land and the warmth of human hearts to the deep waters. The fish will return, but the bridge between our peoples will remain." The Sea Queen considered her daughter's words. Slowly, she nodded. "You have grown wise in your time among these humans. Let it be as you say. As dawn broke over Senya, two worlds found peace. Kofi and Naia's love story became legend, but more importantly, it became a testament to the power of truth, understanding, and the courage to bridge impossible divides. The fish returned to Senya's waters, more abundant than ever before. And sometimes, on moonlit nights, the villagers could see their mermaid princess dancing in the waves, her dual nature a beautiful reminder that love knows no boundaries. Hit that like button if this tale of love transcending worlds touched your heart, and don't forget to subscribe for more enchanting African folktales.